Go on round there. Any more for any more? Come this way now. Come over. Come on. Come this way now. Come forward. There we are. If you look behind you and up to your left, you'll see a balcony outside of a window. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Ignore it and go to the top floor. That window's bigger. That large window lets light into an impressive room. That's the council chamber, where Guy Fawkes was interrogated after the failure of the gunpowder plot of the 5th November 1605. He intends to blow up the House of Parliament, thereby killing King James I and all of his important ministers. And at first, Guy Fawkes, he does not reveal the names of his fellow conspirators. So on orders of the king, he's taken to the torture chamber and placed on the rack, where he was stretched, and he was stretched, and he was stretched, and gave up every name he could think of, even people not involved in the plot. And eventually, he's taken back up there to the council chamber and signs a rather shaky confession. Then, on the 31st January 1606, he was led out to Old Palace Yard in Westminster to be hanged, drawn, and quartered, and not burnt at the stake, as many people believe. And to be fair to the man, they still say to this very day, he's the only man to enter Parliament with honourable intentions. It's good, isn't it? It's good. It's good. Right, we've got a poem that goes with this. The poem has 12 lines. I'm not going to get you to do all 12. We'll do the first 4 lines together. So here we go then, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Remember. Right, this is not solo by me. It's all together. So we'll start again, after 3 now. 1, 2, 3. Remember the 5th November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder and treason should ever be forgot. Like you forgot that. That was pathetic, wasn't it? Right, for that, you're going to get some of my worst lines now. So let's make our way down to Traitor's Gate. In fact, let's be heading off.
We'll have a quiz after this.
What?
He's funny, man.
I lost. Go under.
Right, here we are now at the most infamous gates in the world, Traitor's Gate, built on the orders of King Edward I as it required a safer and more useful entry here into the tower. You see, rather than using the packed and narrow streets of London, where convoys could be attacked, stores stolen and prisoners set free, he decides he will use the Thames as a highway. So he had a hole knocked in the outer defensive wall. So at high tide, boats could pass through the gates and unload the cargoes in safety. Now, during the Tudor period, all the alleged traitors came through here. People like Queen Anne Boleyn, Queen Catherine Howard, Lady Jane Grey, who was the uncrowned Queen of 9 days, and even the young Princess Elizabeth Tudor, later to become Queen Elizabeth I. They came through the gates by boat, landed at these very steps. They were met here by the yeoman jailer and their escort of yeoman warders, then led through the archway of the bloody tower, taken through to their dungeons or cells to await their fate, which for some was only a short journey to their place of execution. You'll see above Traitor's Gate St Thomas Tower, named in honour of a former constable here, St Thomas a Becket, who was murdered on the steps of Canterbury Cathedral on the 29th of December 1170. Happy Christmas. The entranceway to the area, the staircase to your right, takes you up the stairs through the doorway, so if you want to walk the battlements later on, this is where you start. Over here is the Wakefield Tower. After the Battle of Wakefield, during the War of the Roses, over 200 Yorkist prisoners were forced into the lower chamber and left to die in appalling conditions. The upper chamber is where it's reported by tradition on the 21st of May 1471 that King Henry VI was stabbed to death whilst at prayer. He is known as the Monk King. They do say every now and again the ghost of a monk is seen walking through that area, if you believe in that kind of thing. But just over here, this is the Bloody Tower, most famous of course for the alleged murder of the two boy princes at the end of the summer, the year 1483. King Edward V and his younger brother, Richard, the Duke of York, aged 12 and 9 respectively. It's claimed they were stabbed and smothered to death whilst living in here under the protection of their uncle, who was Richard, the Duke of Gloucester, who in July 1483 crowned himself King Richard III. The little bodies were bundled down the stairs, deep down into the lower Wakefield Tower. Now down there, they're hidden under a pile of stones, only until the next day, when an unknown priest moved those bodies to a secret burial site under the stairs on the south side of the White Tower. They remained there undisturbed for 191 years until 1674, when workmen, during the reign of King Charles II, they came upon a chest. And when they opened the chest to look inside, to their shock, not treasure, to their horror, skeletons. Experts declared there were indeed the two missing princes. So on orders of the king, they were moved to Westminster Abbey and reinterred there in what is now known as Innocents' Corner, where they remain to this very day. The tower itself, well, originally they called this the Garden Tower. They changed that name during the reign of Elizabeth I. Firstly, the Tower of Blood, but she didn't like it. She thought it was far too gruesome. So the experts, they were sent away to think again. And they did. They came back with a new idea. The Bloody Tower. Much better. Got a ring about it, hasn't it? And it's remained the same ever since, to remember all the people who were murdered inside that tower. Now very shortly, we're going to make our way through the archway. As we do, look down to your left. You'll see the small metal ring, a reminder of the times when boats on the river could actually tie up at the archway to then push the river back, raise the road 12 feet when they built the outer wall. Either side of the archway, there are two spiked bars, installed on the orders of the Iron Duke, the Duke of Wellington, to stop his soldiers hiding in the corners and secretly smoking their pipes whilst on sentry. Yes! The first smoking ban in the world was here in this archway, and like everything, we had it first. I'm now going to lead the way through into the inner ward and tell you some more stories in there, some of which may be true. I've not decided yet.
Basta maximum was smart. I really can't hear her eyes. Yeah, all I did was cover my...
Should we go and eat?